John James Wells lived in South Carolina in the early 1800s with his family, and he decided to move to Texas. And so he took his family and livestock and slaves and set out on the venture to Texas. Late in the season it got to be cold, his wife was pregnant, and one of the slaves was sick, so he got to what we call now Marion County, which is about 35 miles northeast of here, and he decided to stop when he found this building. It was an abandoned building, and he just moved into it. This was about 1825 or 1827, we're not sure exactly when. However, he decided to stay for a while, and he apparently acquired the property, and from then on, for the next 20 or 25 years, he lived here in this building and farmed the land around it. Now, the interesting thing is that the Wells house in 1825 couldn't have been built by European people of European descent, so it's almost certain that it was built by Indians. And we're inside the Wells house now, and what is the original heart of the house. This part is a log structure, and we believe that this is an Indian structure. The very oldest building in the Chattahoochee Valley, we think it dates from around 1810. Originally, when the house was built, it would have had a dirt floor. In fact, there was a fire pit discovered under the floor when it was moved from Marion County to here. So that there would have been a fire in the middle of the room that went out the top of the ceiling. It's possible that the Indians built some of the frame part of this house, or it could have been that the Wells family added it on. Our best thought is that at least some of the frame building was built by the Indians, and that is not unusual because the Indians did acquire skills from European settlers. So that there were, in Cherokee times, for example, up in North Georgia, there are buildings that were built by Indians that were built out of wood and brick. Our challenge here is much different from any building that we have ever restored at Westville. Other buildings could not have been built before 1830 in this area, so what we have done basically is to restore the building to its 1850. I'm standing here in a doorway that has been cut in the log structure going into what you might call a new room. It's not really a new room though, because it dates probably from about 1845 or 1850. That clearly is an old building. It's just not nearly as old as the front part of this building. It was added, we think, by the Wells family at that time. It just so happened in 1976, when this building came, that I was able to be here for the dedication ceremony that the Indians, the descendants of the Indians who probably lived in this building back in the early 1800s, when they came and rededicated the building, and I witnessed the ceremony. The Indians came, they had a cedar ember in their hands, and they shook the ember in each of the windows and doorways as a sign of peace, and with the white man who they said had taken away the house from them in those early days. The reason for the chimney leaning away, we have found out since, is that the armadillos had dug away the chimney foundation, and of course armadillos are a new animal in this area, so that's something that neither the Indians nor the early settlers had to deal with, but we at Westville have to